Hey everyone, I'm Tim Wills and welcome back to the channel. AfterPay is a BNPL service, or buy now, pay later, meaning you can have the product you want right now and pay for it over bi-weekly part payments in the future. In theory, this sounds like it could be a good idea. You get the product you need now and you pay for it later. But there's a key word there, need. And most of the products and services sold on AfterPay are not necessities. Therefore, there's no reasonable argument why you need it now. AfterPay draws a comparison to credit cards in the sense that you don't own the money you're spending. But in my opinion, AfterPay is far worse because they're not subject to the same rules and regulations as credit cards, and it removes the stigma around spending debt on frivolous things. I'm going to look at 4 reasons why AfterPay is the devil, so let's get straight into it. Number 1, and I've just touched on it, it's the gamification of debt. No longer are you burdened by one large upfront cost. Instead, you get to pay it off over easy bi-weekly payments. It creates this idea that you can live beyond your means, and in a way, it's like giving yourself a pay decrease in the short term. I'll explain what I mean by this. Let's say you bought something, and we're assuming it's something frivolous. You've locked yourself into paying bi-weekly payments, and they come off your paycheck first because it's debt. You're legally obliged to, and if you don't, you're going to have to pay late fees anyway. So if you earn $500 a week and your Afterpay balance is $1,000, then that's like giving yourself a $250 a fortnight pay decrease, or 25% of your pay. And you can likely say goodbye to saving any money over the next 2 months. Number 2, it's instant gratification. Now, you've likely heard this in relation to social media, where you can receive positive gratification within minutes by posting on Instagram and receiving likes and comments and that sort of thing. But how does this relate to Afterpay? Well, if you buy something now, you're receiving positive gratification by getting the product now, even though you don't have the money in your bank account to pay for it up front. Number 3, it's the cost of Afterpay, and in some cases, it's way more than credit cards. If you're late on your payments, you can be charged up to 25% of the amount you borrowed in the space of just 3 months, which is the equivalent of 144% per annum, which far outstrips any credit card on the market, although in fairness, it is capped at 25%. So even though it claims to be interest-free, you could be slapped with hefty late fees that end up making it worse than credit cards. And number 4, it breaks it into part payments, which makes the item seem cheaper than it really is. When you're buying it with cash, it costs $200 right then and there, which is a lot of money. But when you're buying it with Afterpay, it's only $50 right then and there. You're not worried about the $150 that you have to pay in the future. That's future year's problem, right? So what is the best way to buy things? If you can't use Afterpay, you're going to have to budget, but you can borrow some tactics that Afterpay uses. Instead of making part payments to them, you can make part budgets to yourself. So instead of being reactive and losing $50 every 2 weeks, you're being proactive by putting $50 in your bank account and budgeting for a future purchase. Chances are, when it comes time to buy the thing that you're wanting, you're going to be a lot less comfortable parting ways with one lump sum than you would have with Afterpay, where you can pay it off in part pays. And you may not even buy the product, but if you do, at least you're not going into debt for it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you back here next week.